guys, this is a different video, as you could tell from the title. First, if you have never seen me before, hey, what's up? My name's Chevis. Maybe you're just here to see the review of the light. I normally do a knitting, crocheting, fiber art style podcast, and a company named BenQ wrote to me and asked me if I would test out and do a review on their e-reader lamp. Now, full disclosure, they sent me this at no charge. I am often approached by companies to check out their stuff, and I'm always apprehensive. I always feel like there's something behind it. So I did some research on this before I replied to their email. I did see that they are a real company. They do have positive reviews. I watched some other review videos on this, and I believe that the use of the light for crafting purposes is another vein that they're trying. A lot of the reviews were by people who were purely reviewing it as a desk lamp or a reading light. I will tell you, this video is a long time coming, and I need to send out a huge thank you to BenQ because they put no pressure on me as to when this needed to be out or when they wanted it out, and life kept happening to me. So originally I wanted to use it for a little while before I did the review, which I did. Then I recorded it, and I am not a reviewer nor a videographer, and I am used to having the lights behind me, not videoing with the light right here. So the first time I did it, it was terrible. It was terrible. So scratched it. Then I got super swamped at work. Then I got sick. Then the holidays happened. Christmas is next week here in the States. It is 2021 for those of you who are watching this at some point in the future. And I am finally getting around to this review. That being said, I have used this lamp for like 3 months. So I am very familiar with its workings. I use it every day, and I'm going to tell you about it. Okay, so I'm going to read this off of my phone. The reason is because A, I want to make sure that I have it correctly, and B, I attempted to record an unboxing video, and I'm a dumbass and forgot to hit record. So cheers to that. If you are a watcher of my channel, you know that this is not surprising at all. But that being said, let me tell you about it. The box was amazing, very well packaged. This lamp is sturdy AF, okay? The base is solid. So when you're moving it around, it's not gonna fall off the table. I mean, I suppose you could get it to fall off the table, but you know, if you're using it like a normal person would, it's not going to fall off the table. It is very sturdy. It was easy to put together, no complaints there. This is called the BenQ Genie e-reading LED lamp. This does come in different colors. I chose the blue, if you can see that. And this is the only colored part. So it comes in silver, gold, and blue. It moves up and down this way and all around this way. And let me turn it around for you to see. This cord runs up the back, and then you have, you leave enough room so that you have movement there. The cord is a super substantial braided, like, this is nice, you guys, nice. The reason they sent me the lamp is because they wanted to know how well it worked for something like crafts or knitting. In my case, I will tell you, the price tag is salty, but in my opinion, it's worth it. It's a high-end lamp. If this is your design aesthetic, it's not gonna get like floppy. You know how sometimes when you move something up and down a whole bunch, it starts getting loose? It is solid. When I'm using it, I'm sitting at my couch and I usually have it all the way down and then I move it to where I'm knitting. The way it works, which that's probably distracting, see this ring right here? You tap it, la, on it comes. And the light is the entire bottom of this smiley portion. Now, if you need to adjust this, you do need two hands. At least I need two hands. And then the other thing that happens is that, like, you'll be trying to move it to where you need it to be, and it's really easy to turn it off. So while this is super cool, sometimes you do push it off, which doesn't matter to me, but might matter to somebody else. I felt like it was worth mentioning. The reason that they call it a reader or an e-reading lamp is because if I press and hold here, see how that green light turned on and the light changed? Let me do it again. So that is supposed to be smart enough to give you the exact light that you need to read a book in the light that you have, in theory. I would say that it works. I don't use it to read, but I definitely use it to knit and read patterns. The other cool thing about this light, I mean, there's lots of cool things about this light, but this knob right here, so right now the reader's on because you can see that green light there. If I turn this up, the green light for the reading, the smart reading or whatever they call it, I'm not positive what it is. I should have looked that up, but that's what that is, goes away. And now you're in manual mode. So if you turn this dial, it does brightness. And then if you push the dial, it goes to warm or cool, whichever you want. So if I push it again, I'm in warm now, which is orange. You can kind of see that on my sweater. But if I push it again, it goes to the white. Oops, excuse me. Okay, so one is warm to cool. You press it. Once you figure out what warm or cool light you'd like to have, you press it, and that's how you dim your light. Now, throughout using this, the blue light, is that what it's called? The cool light, which is more blue, is going to be great for drawing if you are knitting with black yarn or you have a very intricate pattern that you really need to see. If you're embroidering or cross stitching like on high count linen, this would be great. I will tell you what I catch myself doing. I think that the light is so good, right? The light is so good that I'm knitting, and then I realize, I'm like, why do I have this so bright? And then I'll, like, if we're watching TV at night or whatever, so then I turn it to the warm, and it's so nice. It's so much better on your eyes. So it's really neat to have that feature and to play around with it. So it really depends on what I'm knitting on. If I'm just doing something very easy and I don't need to see real extensive stitch definition, I like the warmer light at night. But if I really need to see well, I take it to the cool light. So then you just tap it to turn it off. And I usually just put it in the up position when I'm not working. I had been in the market for a working light. Prior to using this, I have one of those over the couch lights with like the three, it's like one thing that goes up and then there's three lights that kind of hang off of it, and you can move those around, but it's like way up above me. It wasn't great light, and I've wanted a light for a long time, and I've wanted a working light, and I have thought about OT lights. OT lights are lights many of you are probably familiar with if you are here for the crafting reason of this light, not the reading reason of this light. I have drugged my feet on the OT lights because they're ugly. They're ugly. I don't know. I mean, I know that they do their job, and I know that I think you can use like coupons from Joann's or whatever. I don't know. OT lights might be in their fine print that it doesn't work for. I know that you can get OT lights for less than this lamp. This lamp runs between $170 and $200 depending on where you look at it. BenQ also has other lights. They make computer monitor bar lights that are really neat. They have another one that has an elbow here. The thing that I love about this lamp is it is so cool looking. It is so cool looking. I did see Leslie from Not Quite Enough Yarn. She also reviewed this lamp. Just like she mentioned, this is not her design aesthetic. This is like, you really have to like, like a modern, minimalist, streamlined light, right? Which I do. I love it. I love it. And it works. I kind of feel like I have a mix of a lot of different styles. So this lamp works in my home, but I know plenty of people that this would not work. Like my best friend Clint, this would look great in his house. My mom, this would look great in her house. Depending on your decorating style, this might not be your jam. It is really pretty. I saw somewhere that this is supposed to be a smile. I don't know if that's from the company or not. This is on a ball. You can kind of see it right there. So it goes all over the place. One downside, well, depending on, as a crafter, if you were using this to where you wouldn't have to move it around, I don't foresee this being a big deal at all. But when I'm knitting, there are times where I would like to move this lamp. Sometimes if it's straight on and how I'm sitting, like it might be tilted back a little ways and I'm getting the light, I want it to go out a little to where I still have the light, but it's not coming back at me. You have to use two hands because that's when you're gonna tip it. That kind of shows you how sturdy this base is. The other thing that we have noticed, which is all personal preference, this has to do with us, not you, but I want to say it in the review because it's a big part of how I use this lamp. How I sit in our living room, this is where it is. I have a stand beside me. I'm sitting on the couch. The TV's up here. Dan's sitting over here in his chair. So I have this low like this. Well, when the lamp's like this, because this entire thing is a light, let me see if I can show you. I'm trying to figure out, this is not my gig, people. But I'm at least showing you, right? Okay. So when what is shit show? When I'm working like this, okay, I want my work right here. Well, Dan's sitting to my right. The light from like here is right in his face. I mean, see? It's right in his face. So because of how our seating is in our living room, like if Dan was on my left and the wall was over here, it wouldn't matter, right? That the light was facing that way. For us, we had to come up with a quick little engineering fix. And I'll tell you, this is like a big deal. Not really. This is actually the user guide to the lamp that I have put a hair tie around. And I do this. And it works, people. It works. Because now the light's right here. But I know that it looks like but it's not. It does not shine him in the face. My suggestion to BenQ, well, suggestion is that, yeah, I mean, to look into it if you are looking for ways that you can maybe upgrade this a little bit. It would be cool to have the ability to maybe turn off just the back half of it. Because I get if you're reading it, you might want this whole spectrum, you know, especially if, like, say the light's up here and you're reading like this. But when you're working on a craft and you need your light fairly close to you, you really only need this section of the light. So if just the first part lit, I think that would be a cool feature to add. I don't know how you would do that from an engineering standpoint, but it would be nice for the crafting to be able to maybe just turn off the back half of that light as an option. Like I said, other people might not have noticed that at all, but the way that seating is in our home, my little handy dandy whatchamadingy works just fine. So this stays on there all the time. And then I turn it off and I set it up, and that's where it is. So I hope you guys have liked this review. A huge thank you to BenQ for letting me try out their stuff and being interested in my thoughts and opinions on it. As you know, I am always truthful, so I hope that they are totally cool with my very minimal critique of this part of it. All the links will be in the description box below. Go to BenQ's website, check out some of their other options. Like I said, they have those monitor lights, they have different types of lights. There might be another one that you like. But as far as the knitting goes, I love it. I love the warm, cool option. I do think that it is very easy to accidentally bump this, but it's not a big deal. You just hit it again. However, some of you might find that irritating. The other thing, this is a company, I believe it's a Taiwan-based company, and I don't know if this has something to do with their engineering over there, but what I found super interesting, and it must be in the electronics somewhere, is when our power goes out, and we live out in the country and our power flickers, not all the time, but it happens, you know, more often than it did when I lived in town for some reason. When the power goes out and comes back on, the light turns on. So like the other day I came home from work and this light was on, which is sort of like a dead giveaway that we lost power. But that is something, I don't know why that happens, but it does. I don't think it's a big deal. These are LEDs and I don't believe they're replaceable. It doesn't look like something that you can like change a bulb or anything, but I don't know why you'd have to, because LEDs are probably going to outlive us. Let me see if it says anything in the literature. Okay, so the green light, I was wrong. I thought that was for reading, which it might be for reading, but they're calling it eye care mode. That is eye care mode. And they say the eye care mode protects your eyes by adjusting the lamp's brightness according to the ambient lighting condition automatically and optimizing the color temperature settings for screen reading. So screen reading, not book reading. And it does not say anything about replacing the light, the bulbs or anything. I think they're just, like I said, I think they'll last a long, long time. I was going to say one more thing about it. What was it? Oh, I remember. It is not too heavy. While it is substantial and solid and very sturdy, it's not heavy. Like I said, I use this lamp out in the living room, and occasionally I move it in the stuff room if I want to sit in here with like my hot tea at night and listen to my book and knit. So I do move this around, not a big deal. Again, I want to give a big thank you, shout out to BenQ for asking me if I wanted to check out their light. I am super happy with it. And if you have any questions on it as far as how I use it, feel free to ask. But if not, be sure and check out the links below. And thanks again to everyone who are watching. Bye. But for us, we had to come up with a little quick